Hi, it's Christina Merkley, and I'm back for another one of the free recorded sessions. And today I have Aurora. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello, mysterious woman in black. You've watched a couple of these, so you know how it goes. We kind of talk at the beginning to figure out what's up for you. And then depending on what is showing itself, I'll, out of my bag of tools, select something that I think is a match, and that's what we'll proceed with. So give me a little bit about what's up, and we'll go from there.
Okay, so there's a lot that's been lifting for me. So I think if I can just throw a couple things out there, if there's something that...
It's a little hard to hear you. Let me just check. That might be me, but let me check to see if it's my volume.
Okay.
Nope, mine's up 100%.
You're up. Okay, should I? Okay.
Can you get closer to where your mic is?
Is this better for you?
So for some reason it's a little muffled, but
Okay.
Weird, because we were just talking and it seemed fine.
Right? Okay, I will speak up a little bit.
Okay.
See if that is helpful. Okay, so I think I'd like to, there's a lot lifting for me, so I'd like to just throw a couple things out there, and you can see if there's anything that grabs you, because there's a lot I could talk about.
Okay, yeah, we'll find our way with it.
So pandemic, quarantine related, what's surfaced for me is some amplified isolation and alone sort of issues. So, and I know that's not unique to me. However, my situation's probably a little more unique on top of the quarantine stuff. So.
Well, and it doesn't have to be something unique. I mean, I think that's just a key one. I can relate to that myself. So
Absolutely.
I'm sure there's a lot of people. So, okay. So with the amplified isolation, the sense of aloneness and probably loneliness, I'm guessing.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. So that's kind of one thing that's sort of hanging out there for me, which of course is, leans into a bigger issue for me, which is, it made me wonder about my community and maybe I don't have a good community around me, or I need to build a better community. So then it's making me think about, I guess that's solution focused.
Yep.
What do I do about it?
Good.
And then along with the connections to others and networks, sort of feeling easily shaken by lots of things, which I didn't think I was so much. But I feel like either maybe my energy's not aligned or not where it needs to be not productive, to feel good in the world and have more harmonious relationships and interactions and
when you get shooken up, and by the way, I think that's completely, absolutely normal. Like right. We tend to just think like our usual, like, oh, like the last process group I did was all around, how come I can't focus?
Oh, sure,
well, yeah. There's a lot of stuff amping our nervous system up in all sorts of ways, and there's a lot of legitimate things to be concerned about, which are going to take up bandwidth, right? So, yes, but with what you're saying, I'm curious about the shooken. So what happens? I doubt you're easily shooken, but the fact that there are so many layers, right? That those of us who are independent types and get her done kind of types, like even us, with all these layers of things, understandably are not on our usual. So,
right.
So is it showing when you're shooken? Do you go into like sadness and collapse, or do you go into fight and anger, or what's kind of happening, or both?
Yeah, I think I go through a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
When it happens, and it's probably, like you said, the straw that broke the camel's back type of thing, right? It's this little bit of not so good that's happening right now isn't really the big issue, but it's compounded on top, all other layers, as you said, which is...
That's a good word, compounded, exactly. Compounded stresses.
I definitely feel I'm annoyed, I'm irritated, I'm like, what's up with me? What's up with them?
Mm-hmm.
This better.
Frayed nerves.
So I did say my nerves are frayed several times.
Mm-hmm.
And then going from there, I think there's what does that mean in my mind and body connection? I think my body's holding a lot of it, and I don't know necessarily what to do with that, like the physical sort of symptomology and manifestation of some of my internal
Yeah. How's it
distresses.
showing up for you?
I've got a lot, and they are existing, but then also further compounded and amplified by what's going on.
Okay. Yeah, flaring them up more.
Between like insomnia and an anxiety level, even digestive issues.
Yep.
I have a self-soothing sort of mutilation behavior that, is getting worse with, as things sort of flare up. So I have quite a few sort of physical manifestations of things when I'm feeling a little upset inside. And then
Let's just take a moment to breathe into that. I think we're going to end up doing inquiry. I think it might already be happening, but it's just, yeah. And in a way, I've written it all down on my clipboard, but I could have written it all down on my tablet. So let's just take a moment. Also, two things I'm going to do. Tapping. I just feel compelled to tap my heart because that's really tender. And it just kind of the parfait layers, right? Like it just went do, 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 like down, down, down into just a poignancy, right? So just Aurora, I'm just like, oh, I want to hold my heart and hold your heart and just be with that for a sec. With inquiry, one of the lovely words and phrases is "you are welcome here." So I would say to all that layers of things that just came out on the coffee table, like, "Hey, you are welcome here." Understandable and like just you're right. They're upset and they have legitimate reasons to be upset. All those different aspects of yourself and the way the body's responding, right? And that upset. It's like you're right. Damn right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Valid, welcome, just.
Yep, exactly. Not making it wrong, not pushing it away, not like I'm tough, it's just like, oh, whew.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we might go into inquiry right from here, but just see if the mind had anything else it wanted to share.
So I'll just say there was two other sort of little groupings.
Yeah, good.
Might not. So the other thing that I do animal rescue work.
Yeah.
Not my real job, on the side work, and that can be both beautiful and completely upsetting.
Yeah, it must be.
So it's a very it's a little bit hard. There's a lot of fatigue that comes from that. Even when you have the good, you have a lot of heavy in that.
Trauma.
Exactly. And during this whole pandemic, I'm sure you know all the science behind how some of these things start and how animals suffer, and how so it's hurt my heart a lot. My heart aches for everybody during this, really. But I have an extra special place for my heart that aches for the animals that have been culled, mistreated, and suffering.
Oh, sweetie. Oh, let's just take a moment there too. Oh my goodness. All the ones you're interacting with and all the ones that you're aware of, because of what you're interacting with is just a microcosm of the macrocosm across the world, right? So, wow.
And it's, they're all beings that deserve as well.
Yep.
So I need to sort of just honor that. So forgive me.
Oh, so that aspect and aspects of yourself and myself and anybody watching this who's going to relate to this, of course, too, like, just like, you're right. This is heavy. This is intense. It's beautiful and it's traumatic. And there's a fatigue that comes with it, right? Probably a compassion fatigue, a helper fatigue. Like, whoa, you're doing very intense stuff.
Right. Yes, it's heavy for all that I know, and I'm sure lots that I don't know. just need to, I have a little space for that, and it just needs to be part of, it's just me.
Yeah,
Part of me.
I get it. One of my happy places is to go to YouTube and watch the cute animal videos,
Mhm.
right? But then inevitably when you start doing that, then they show you all the trauma videos, like the rescue stories, and I'm just
Yeah,
like, ah, I can't go there.
right. Yeah.
And you go there, so hats off
Yeah.
to you, but I can only imagine how intense that is.
Appreciate the space for that for a moment.
Yeah, and also just the link to humanity, right? And how can people be so inhumane,
Mhm.
and gross and maniacal in some ways, and neglectful and stupid, and
Right.
then just desperate. People get desperate too. So
Mhm. And then sort of on my end, a little feeling of helplessness in a lot of it.
yeah,
So that's a little bit of a cloud for me that hangs a lot, is a little bit of, I want to fix. I clearly am a fixer type. And so I'm like, and some of those bigger things I
you
don't
can't.
know,
Yeah.
and how to. So that might link in later to some comments I make with maybe what I can do in my future,
Okay. Yep.
if that's where we go.
Yep.
Um,
Exactly. Yep. So now we're just welcoming helplessness and agreeing with it. Like, you're right. You're right. It sucks to be helpless, and it sucks to be an individual in a systemic world, right? Like these issues that you're interacting with, they're systems issues. And so it's not just one individual. I mean, obviously, when you care for one animal, you're making a difference in that animal's life, but these bigger issues just keep coming back and back and back. So,
right.
and how do we as a society tackle them, right? Because one person can't, or they just start like what's happening with you, or has all the way along with your journey, right? It cracks you.
Mm-hmm.
It's so demoralizing. Whew.
So yes,
Just welcoming all of
it's
that.
here.
Sorry.
It's here.
Yeah.
It's here.
Yeah. It's welcome. It's welcome.
Yeah.
It's understandable. You're right. You're right. It's awful. And it sucks to be powerless, or to only have a certain amount of power, right? There's only certain things you can do. You don't have the magical wand to make it all better. If you did, you would.
Right. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Whew. Okay.
So I don't know if you wanted to hear the last.
I think you got the next one, so I'm ready for the next one. Go for it.
Okay. Okay. I was going to say, I know it's a sharp turn from that one, sort of, but it's during this. So I'm fully employed by the public education system here in the U.S. And I do that. I'm about 7.5 years from retirement for my full 30 years.
Yep.
I'm grateful to have that now, and also I'm hoping to be grateful enough to continue to my 30 years with them. However, once I'm done, I'm at 30, I want to explore not living in the same place I currently am and going somewhere else, which I think we've talked a little bit about before.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm wondering is, I'm trying to start that now. So I'm trying to play with it with less pressure. And I'm also trying to see, can I do any animal work that's connected to, can I blend what I might think of as my new sort of career, if you will, later on, and can I make an impact also? Can I not merge entirely, but can I make connections? Can I help? Can I, or they just
So
always?
part of the move, or part of the pondering about the future, is how does your animal work fit in?
Yeah, maybe it's, yeah. How do I can always work on it. I can always make it fit, but
Oh,
is there a way I can help it on a bigger, like, can it be part of can I help other organizations, maybe do something more formally on a bigger scale with my consultancy? Like,
okay. Yeah,
that
so that
kind of,
becomes your it. Yeah.
right, maybe. So,
Yeah, or at least part of your it. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Um, yeah, okay. So then that was sort of all that showed up for me to sort of air out. So whatever you feel
Okay, yeah, that's great.
dive in, I'm happy.
Yeah, so there's lots of different, there's left brain ways we could tackle this, and there's right brains. I'm still feeling like inquiry,
Okay.
because inquiry is just a way of working with your subconscious mind, right? Like the larger, it's the right brain, and right brain knows everything. So And our left brains are great too, but they're limited.
Right.
So I could do a lot of the stuff in Shifted is tactical, practical, good left brain stuff. You've done some of that before, like a take action plan. So I'm kind of curious to go. I think did you do future self as well? Did that?
I did do
Yeah.
future.
Yeah. So that's
You're
good.
right.
So we won't go there, but it might be interesting. Well, we could just zip over to your future self and talk to her. In fact, maybe I'll do that since you already have future self teed up. It's kind of worth it. Have you been, since you met her, have you revisited her?
No, no, I haven't much because so I think I did that mapping in maybe January. So obviously it's just fallen off my,
Sure. Understandable. Yeah. And I'm not making it wrong that you didn't, but what this is an opportunity for you and for other people who've done future self is that, hey guys, this is a real ally. So when you get stumped, go to your ally, right? So different people take to it in different ways. Some people really take to it and it becomes, go-to, somebody that they, an aspect of themselves, an aspect of their consciousness that they connect with repeatedly and find it very helpful. So maybe I will go there because we did a little bit of inquiry, just light by just meeting as you were going down your layers. And I'm aware of those layers. So that's what I would probably ask your future self about, help you to ask her. Also, there might be an opportunity, some people with your future self, you can actually become her and channel your future self. So that might push you a little bit to try that. If that's too strange and weird to do, especially with it being recorded, then I'll back off of that. But that's really powerful. So, I'm just kind of finding and getting my instructions. So I'm like, yep, okay, my instructions are go to future self, have you channel future self and see what she has to say about these layers that you've brought forward. And we'll see what happens from there. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. I'm ready to start drawing.
It was interesting. When I did it before in January, it was a little difficult for me to do. So I'll be interested to see how it sort of unfolds today then with a different angle.
Yep, some people do. And some of it might just be anxiety stuff, right? When you're doing it in front of somebody else with a coach or something. And then other times it's just too left brain.
Right.
And not everything works for everybody, right? So it's like, if that doesn't work for you, great. There's lots of other approaches to do that might be more easier. So more comfortable. So I'll see what happens. And if not, I got plenty of other places we can go. So
absolutely,
don't feel like you have to fake it or please me or anything. Like, just be authentic.
Absolutely.
And I'll go with the authenticity. Yeah.
Okay.
You don't have to remember, but if you happen to remember, there was something that enabled you to go meet your future self previously. Do you remember what that was?
Like the mode of transport.
Exactly. Yes.
I was on the wings of a bird.
Oh, well, that makes sense for you. Perfect. Okay.
So,
and just do a quick, you'll know this very quick. Does it make sense to go visit the same future self, or do you want to go one even further out?
So the future self I did then was about just literally the business side of everything, none of these layers. And that was good, but I don't know if future self.
Oh, she's got another side of it. So this, to me, that's a yes. Let's go to her, because now you'll see that she's got another side to her, not just the business side, even though you went to ask those kinds of questions last time. So this is perfect. We're kind of getting holistic, right? We're getting the business and the personal, professional and personal. Yeah. Okay. You don't have to remember, but how far out was she?
I believe 20, do you need the year? Like about 8 years from now.
About 8 years? Yeah, just a sense of time. That's a good stretch. I like that. That's good because that'll get us beyond the hubbub of the 2020, and you'll have,
Right.
and it makes sense. You probably did that. I know you did it with one of our certified coaches for his exam,
Yes.
and that gets you to that retirement time, right? Like a year or so
Yes.
beyond that. So,
Yes.
okay, nice. So right now we're 20. So was it 2027-ish, 28? What feels right for you?
2028.
Okay, 2028. So that's who we're going to go visit, your 2028 self. Okay, so I'll just help you to get there real quick. And remember, Aurora, like whatever comes, like don't discount it. It's okay. And however it comes, like different people process in different ways. So you might see things, you might sense things, you might know them, you might feel them, taste them, you might feel you're making them up, right? Like it might just be a very subtle kind of thing that comes. So whatever comes, go with it and don't make anything wrong. So, and if nothing comes, that's okay too.
Okay.
Take off the pressure.
So
No
I
big
don't
deal.
interrupt you. Can I just say that I do live on a busy intersection, so if there's traffic, I apologize for any background noise, but I also have bird rescues here, so if there's any noise from them too.
Cool. I'm sure they will punctuate at the appropriate times. Yeah. And we'll just use all that to go deeper too when those things happen on your end, right? It's like no big deal. You can keep on going. It doesn't mean it needs to interrupt anything. Okay, so getting yourself settled there, let's just both take a couple of deep breaths and just kind of shake off, even if you want to stand up and twist around, which kind of lets go of, in fact, I'm going to do that. It helps for my body with what I'm doing to move occasionally in different ways. Good. So we're just kind of letting go of that talk that we just had. And now we're just going to settle back down into our body in a different way. And just going to invite you to get conscious of where you are. If you want to close your eyes, that's fine. If you want to keep them open, that's fine too. Just focus them on a spot somewhere. And through the magic of intuition and just our ability, our so-called imagination, which is so much more than that, than what we tend to think of it, that incredible bird that came that was able to transport you in time, it already did it, so we know it can. So it's somehow it's materializing in front of you. And you're here in 2020 and you're able to connect with that bird and jump onto it, whatever it might be. And it's doing what it did last time. It's kind of taking you from this 2020, thank goodness, all the hubbub, like, get me out of here, please. Calgon, take me away. Dating myself, 1970s commercial. Yeah. You got the joke, yay. So it's lifting off and it's getting out of the hubbub of this particular day, rising up above into those clear skies, maybe above the clouds or whatever's happening there for you weather-wise. And this time travel thing starting to happen and it's starting to whip through time, and it's going to take you from the day that we're currently in, and it's moving you forward. And it's actually going to do it quite rapidly and safely. This bird is just able to get there up into the right current, and it's very comfortable there, and it's its territory, and you're safe on its wings, and it just goes for it. It just kind of hits the accelerator, and it's just a marvel to be with it as it hurls through the air, incredible speeds, so much so that time unfurls. And it moves us beyond the summertime of 2020, and it goes into the fall, and then it hits 2021 and goes through all the seasons there. Somehow something happened with that American election of you guys. We did get beyond that time period. And whatever happened with ballads and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And somebody emerged as a leader and the world continued somehow. Yeah. and 21, and then boy, it goes into whoever is in charge. It goes into their term there of 2022 and 23 and 24. And boy, it really gets past that hubbub of that time. And now it's like, whew, I can feel the letting it go as we get beyond 3 or 4 years here, and it goes into that 2025 and 26 and 27. And then, oh, it's like, I'm to take you to the home of your future self in 2028. So it starts to come down out of that atmosphere and comes down a little lower and a little lower and a little lower, and just gracefully deposits you kerplunk into the time and place of your future self. Bird's going to stay nearby because it's going to take you back, entertain itself in this environment for a while. And as you kind of kerplunk there down onto the land, just take a moment to acclimatize. Your future self is aware that you're coming for another visit. So just see, and there's no rush to this, but just see, sense, feel, know, whatever. Is it the same as when you were last there? Do you find her? Is she there waiting for you? Is she beckoning? Is she going to take you back to the same place you had a conversation with her before? What kind of flashes for you?
Just feel very like warm and lovely, like sunny. I feel more peaceful.
That sounds like it sounds like we hit the right place. Good.
Right. I'm like, I definitely have a vision.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Good.
She's in another country, um,
Mm.
not here, which of course, I fully agree with right now. And
Yep.
so she's definitely there. I'm feeling, and I don't know if this is too much, I'm feeling Australia vibes.
Interesting. Cool.
Um, where a lot of the birds I work with are from. So that's kind of interesting. That didn't come up quite so
Uh-huh.
specifically
Great.
before.
Ooh, goosebumps. You got another layer here. Good.
Yeah, that's my initial sort of looking around, feeling.
Okay.
Sense.
Excellent. And do you notice future self? Is she there?
Yes, she's there. She's happy. She's
Nice.
peaceful. Yeah, I definitely get a very peaceful sense.
Peaceful and happy. Great. Allow her to lead you somewhere so that you two can kind of sit down and have a chit chat, or maybe she just wants to give you a tour. Just see what happens.
We are just sitting on a beach, watching and listening to the water. Lovely, pretty beach, but quiet, not a lot of people. And that bird's staying right with me because that's how it goes.
Sweet. Now is your opportunity to ask her all those different things that you brought to the table, right? Um, Obviously, you're visiting from 2020. She's thankfully got real perspective. So maybe a place to start is with the isolation and the loneliness and your questionings about your community, right? Because you are not alone. There's a lot of people, given what they went through, this is a crisis, right? So you kind of find out what you got when you go through a crisis. So what does she have to say to you about this?
I think she's saying you're where you need to be now. You're on the path journey you need to be on to make the changes you need to make to have more. I don't want to say this like more positive and healthy relationships with whomever they are,
Mm-hmm.
and that not all relationships are the same, and that's okay too.
Excellent.
So I think there's some helpful framing for myself moving forward as I engage in whatever level of community relationships I might have.
Okay, great. Um, any nuance on that you want to ask her? So she gave you that answer. And do you have any kind of yeah buts, or you have anything you want to ask her more about the loneliness and about the community, at least in 2020? And of course, there's the question about what happened over time with that, right? So.
Right. So my sort of yeah, but is, yeah, like logically that all makes sense. However, when I go out there and try to do things and build things, and I have some healthy boundaries, and I have become much more aware of like toxic traits I no longer need to be, part of with others.
Mm-hmm.
And then as I attempt to do it again, my yeah, but is, but yeah, but why does it, why do I keep feeling like my energy's off when I try to move into a new space to network, or a new person comes into my life in a whatever way? Something feels off. I still don't feel like a good, I'm assuming it's my energy. So I think it's the, yeah, but I think my energy needs something, and that's what I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm distracted because my computer,
Okay.
my antivirus is trying to accept an update now, and I'm like, you're not supposed to do this. Okay, there's the thing to remind me later. Sorry. Okay, took me a sec to find it. Ah!
No worries.
Interesting antivirus popping up. Okay, so you were on a
Weird.
roll. Sorry to interrupt.
No worries.
So she's saying you are going to develop more healthy and positive relationships will get developed here. There's
Yes.
some reframing too of maybe expectations, like don't think everybody's going to be that, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And then there's you and she are dialoguing about, yeah, there's stuff, there's more understanding around boundaries to occur, and then also the recognition and the way to interact well when you do spot toxic traits.
Yep. Yep. So all of that, and then like the energy, like my general, like am I going out into the world too nervous and anxious that's people react to that, right? Or is this
Mm-hmm.
I am an introvert, so I'm not expecting to all of a sudden be, um, rushing to every party, and so it's a little different take probably than some other personality styles. But yeah, there's definitely, like, I feel like my energy's off, and that's my big yeah, but like I don't know what to do with that, and I'm trying to solve that. Maybe
Okay, very good. That's
solve
the
it.
question to her. That's good. That's your inquiry. So well stated. So just see how she responds to that.
She's, I'm getting to like just lean in and just keep being you. Like it's not one big fix. It's like all these sort of micro movements toward all this growth and change and transformation. You're already on the path for it. It's just sort of tough.
Okay,
So
very good. Yeah. So just lean in. It's micro movements. It's tough because it's multiple things on multiple levels, right? And it'd be nice to have just one big move, but
right.
it's not one big move. Like she's just being like, breaking it to you, kid. It's
Right.
not one big move. It's multiple things, and just take them. Just lean in, get ready,
Right.
pace yourself.
Right. But also what's lifting is be kind to yourself. Like
Nice.
I would never speak to somebody the way I speak to myself.
Yeah.
And that is a big change. And maybe that is part of my energy, right? Like
Yeah.
you can't
Yeah.
go out there being that mad at yourself even. Or
Well, and also like attracts like, right? If
right.
one is still in a process, probably very understandable. If I understood your whole context, it would make sense why you do it. It's probably some sort of old protection mechanism.
Sure.
So we don't want to make it wrong. It's like, you're right, whatever it was protecting you from. But
Yeah.
times have changed, and especially, obviously, she's out there in 2028. So she has she's progressed, and she has gone the next level, or maybe many levels, on the self-narrative stuff, and it's got kinder. And as a result, who's she attracting on the outside too, right? She's not attracting that toxicity on the outside. She's attracting more positive stuff, healthy stuff, loving stuff. So
Right.
as you do that inside, the outside does it.
Yeah. And I think so that's a journey I've been on here in 2020. And that's what's also, in addition to this pandemic, has amplified some of my isolation issues, is I have removed lots of toxic people from my life. There's some to go entirely, some that needed, okay, they need containers, they're not a friend maybe I can do this with, or that, whatever, share certain levels of info, or we can't talk shop with this, for like there's different, and that's okay, it's all okay. I think it's just in myself sort that out. And I just feel like I go out there with a little too open a heart sometimes, and not everybody is respectful of that, maybe.
Okay, yep, very good. So now let's bring this, hey, Aurora's got this huge open heart, and she's worried this is coming up, understandably, a fear of, I'm going to have community, I'm going to have people.
Yes.
This hasn't gone so well with me and my big open heart. So
Right.
see what she says about that.
I just keep hearing you're on the right road, and it's essentially what I just like. It's not quick. It's a journey in and of itself, in amongst your other bigger journey, right? It's all these. So I think you really are doing the right things and moving. It's just really a lot of growing pains, I think, and it's almost that it's getting worse before I think it gets better, because I think it will get better. So she's telling, like, rest assured, you find what you need. You find loving, healthy people that you connect with, that you work with, that you interact with. Yeah.
So we'll put them out on this horizon here with birds around them. Little doggies and kitties, that's what these little shapes down here are. We can just say those are little animals. Okay. Okay. And that's healthy, happy people.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's a journey. Okay, thank her.
Yes,
Thank you, future self. Okay, so now we go down to, and you can go wherever you want, but I'm just following what you brought originally to me. Hey, future self, I'm feeling easily shaken. I feel like I'm not aligned. I feel like what's going on with 2020 was the straw that broke the camel's back. And I'm annoyed and I'm irritated and I've got frayed nerves. I think completely understandable, but let's see what future self says.
Right. So there's definitely this moment in time, which is, like you said, I don't know that any of us are exempt from it. So lots of love for everybody with that, but I think it sort of all connects back to all those, like my community sort of conversation, my realization of, oh gosh, you feel very, very isolated, alone, lonely, all those things. And then I think, oh, and then I go out there and I try to do something, anything, even just driving down the street, and the amount of not so good things I encounter just from, got to go to point A to point B, and like someone tried to run me off the road yesterday. So I'm like, that's nothing to do with you. But I'm like, how do you run into this stuff so often?
Yeah.
So I'm like, what?
Okay, that's a legit question. That's a great question. So bring that to her feet and just say, hello, this is not normal. I'm the one who gets run off the road. How come? See what she says. or however she beams it. It might not be, you're getting the messages beautifully, so receive them.
That one's sort of like upsetting to me, and I just feel like tears are coming, but I can't articulate why. Like I'm quite not sure. I'm not sure what's happening.
Yeah, that's okay. So we'll just welcome it. We'll welcome it. So,
Okay.
so tears, I don't fully understand you, but you're welcome here.
Yeah.
And this is upsetting. And I welcome that. And I agree with it. It is upsetting. This is very upsetting. I'm upset.
And I think what takes me to a irritated place is I'm a good person. I never mean to go out into the world and do any harm. I don't have thought, you know what I mean, bad thoughts, bad intent. I come with all good, but something is off. So then I feel almost hurt. Like, goodness, I'm not, oh goodness. I can't reconcile what's happening to me.
Right. Well, sometimes powerlessness attracts powerlessness, right? Or victim conscious will attract victimization. So this is at high metaphysical level. So, you know, it's so take it with a grain of salt. But let me try something here.
Okay.
You've done this before with your future self, but I'm going to try it again, which is I'm going to see if future self will allow you to inhabit her body. And it's not just her body, it's her attitude, outlook, power, right? Everything. Because it'd be nice to have a refresher on that so you can feel what that feels like. And then I'm also going to, when you're in there, I'm going to ask you the same questions and allow you to say them, speak to me as her. And we'll just kind of see what happens there. Is that all right by you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, check with her. You always got to ask permission when you inhabit somebody's body.
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah, she's like, come on in. Yeah, so jump on in there.
Okay.
Get into her body, be standing there in her clothes. Just take a moment to just breathe through her lungs. Feel her shoulders. Feel her eyes, her mouth, her hands. She's standing on the ground that she's standing on. She's in the country she's in. She's in the roles that she performs. She has healthy, happy people around her. She's figured it out. The world has progressed. And, you know, 8-something years later, this is who you are. So while you're in there, see your 2020 self standing in front of you. And your 2020 self has come with a really important question to you, which is, how come I get the ones who practically run me off the road, who drive me off the road? How come I'm attracting this stuff? This hurts. I'm a good person. Reply back to your 2020 self from the level of consciousness you have as the one you are now. Be the future self, speak as the future self to your 2020 self. Imagine your 2020 self right in front of you. She's asked you a very legit question. I will take the notes.
I think.
Don't think, do.
You're wounded.
There you go. Okay, keep going. Beautiful.
It's why you find wounded and try to help wounded.
Hmm.
And even try to. You always seem to be in that place to do so. And sometimes maybe the other wounded is wounded but bites back.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not all, it's not a lovely interaction always.
Yep. Wise words. Future self, anything else you want to say to your 2020 self? You know who she is. You've been her. She's brought a whole beautiful and poignant list to me to this session, and I'm turning right to you because I know you've got the answers. I'll take the notes. What do you want to say to her?
She doesn't have to own this. She doesn't have to own every crappy interaction in the world either.
Good.
She's got to maybe find techniques or strategies to allow some things to roll on by. Not everything is personal.
Mm. I'm just getting it down.
Okay. Yep.
She'll have the recording too, so she'll be able to listen to it, which is awesome. So you don't have to own every crappy interaction. There was another really good nugget you gave. Help me get it down. It's not personal. That's what it was.
Yeah. And that there's, this is a solution focus, but she could find tools and techniques and strategies.
Excellent.
For,
do you have any suggestions for her future self?
I think the basis is what we've said. It's not all of it's personal.
Oh, I meant tools and techniques. Do you have any tools and techniques you found personally helpful, or you would point her to future self?
Nothing's coming right this moment as a specific.
Yep. Okay. So you're just really trusting the 2020 self is capable of finding tools and techniques to assist, so she doesn't take it so personal, and she gets that perspective of, wounded is not all lovely. It bites back. Wounded people do wounded stuff.
Right.
If you're going to work with wounds, just like you do so well with the animals, that it's not always a lovely interaction. That's a lot of what she brought to future self, understandably, right? She's been working a long time with helping with animals, and it's taken a toll on her. And for some of the reasons that you're getting to, anything else you would say to her directly about the pain of that work?
I think I would mirror the same message with my community, that to be kind to yourself. It's hard to honor the fatigue and the stress and the heartache in that side of, doing that type of work and being involved at those levels, and just the awareness level is distressful. Actually digging in. So it's hard. I think you have to honor that and find ways to help yourself continue being kind and graceful to yourself.
Mm-hmm. There's the next layer is stuff going on for her in 2020 around the mind-body connection, and insomnia, anxiety, digestive, self-soothing things going on that aren't the healthiest for her.
Yes.
Stand there in future self's perspective and speak to the 2020 self.
She's saying that she's not helpless in
Be her. Instead of interpreting,
okay,
stand there,
okay.
be her, and speak it as her. So
So
it's you. Yeah.
okay, so you're not helpless in some of these issues. You do know what to do for some things. Some things are true medical, things, but some things, there's a lot of things I can do to impact it, that she can do to impact it. One of those tools and techniques that would help with some of my body stuff is also not owning that all those crappy interactions is meditation. I think that
Mm-hmm.
come forward for both of those things to help find space and peace in my day, to be quiet my mind. And I think there's a level of assistance she needs to seek, you should seek, about trauma that's trapped in the body. And
Good.
I need that, she needs to explore that. That is, you need to explore that.
There's a lot of good stuff out there now. Good.
So right now you don't know what that means, but you need to follow a path there. With the somatic level, which I've never addressed, but is very much, even down to my posture, is because I'm not okay. There's a lot of layers I need to sort of peel back.
Body work you can do, different kinds of practitioners who do different methods. Peter Levine's work is incredible for releasing trauma. Lots of different, I can point you
yes, I would love
different
that.
techniques. Yeah, I'll follow up with an email and I'll put that as well underneath the video. I'll put a list of resources. Okay, excellent. Thank you, Future Self.
Yeah, thank you.
Anything further, Future Self, on that? I've got another whole whack of things to ask you about.
I know, right? Bring it all. Nothing is coming right now additionally about those things.
Okay, perfect. Then we go to the level of work. So you're doing something out there. There's questions about moving, and there's also questions about life after retiring from the school district work. So, and I heard reference to a consultancy, and I heard reference to ponderings around, wow, maybe that consultancy can be paid work around the animal rescue and that whole genre. So Future Self, you're there. So what do you have to say to her about that whole side of things? Your move and your work and what's going on with consultancy around animal work?
So consultancy with or without animal work, I think you need to believe in yourself. You do bring value. You do have immense value to bring to the world, animal connection or not. You do. You have a lot of skills. I think you question yourself much too often, and that impedes your progress sometimes.
And any practical directions around building a consultancy, or are you consulting around the animal work? And if so, what's your world like? What are you doing?
I'm not currently consulting around the animal work, so.
Future Self.
Oh, sorry.
Get in there and be the future self, because the future self is.
Yes, she is. Okay,
yeah, so speak as her. Be her. Okay. She's talking to you.
Yes, so at this point, you have developed a fabulous communication consultancy. You are absolutely in love with your daily routine, your people you work with, and your flow of your day and your environment, which is extremely important to you. And you've not felt for 30 years since moving to the USA, because I'm not from here.
Mm-hmm.
You've never felt like you belong. So right in that moment, you are there. You feel wherever that is, you feel you belong. And you have this great value based business with great people, and there's just a great vibe to your day, your daily flow. And you are feeling out a way to connect more greatly in 2028 with the animal world, and that might be your pro bono work. That might be your dissonance in that level is taking money when you think it should go directly.
Mm-hmm. So you
source of
choose not to. You still
Yes.
do it. You earn your keep through other ways.
Yes.
Okay.
And then what I would gain from what you gain from working that way also is a little exposure that might lead to other things. You might help other organizations help more animals, and or you might get a person out of there who's a client for something else, and you made the connection through these. So there would still be exposure. So I think it would be a nice double win for me if I moved into a space where the animal world work I could do pro bono, and in 2028 you'll just be really moving into that space. So you're going to build from now until then, a smaller scale, figure out all business logistics. You need to figure out your network for people you can, your sort of back porch group of trusted advisors for building your flow, building good business practices that are sound, that are heart-centered, and like you feel good about all your chain, your supply chain, whatever you're doing and using, everything's good. You don't wonder that you're harming along the way. And then in 2020 is where you can probably launch into a fully, you've got your flow going with your money coming in from that level work as a consultant, switching out of your career from education into how can I now really leverage that to help animals on a bigger scale.
Mm-hmm.
So I think right at 2028 is where you will leverage that there. So you might need some time to get to that level, but you will be there.
Wonderful. Anything else, future self, that at this point in time, knowing hopefully the two of you can connect at any time, you don't need me to do it. And hopefully this will help Aurora with realizing what an ally you are, and she's doing beautifully, and thank you for allowing her to step in there and become you. She's doing a beautiful job in this. Anything else at this point in time that you want to communicate?
I think she's just feeling a little more calm, saying, sorry, you are on the right path. Trust yourself. Just keep moving.
Okay, beautiful. I'm going to invite Aurora to pull your consciousness out of your future self and back into your 2020 body that's standing in front of her. in her time and place. See, you've done this with her before. See if there's a gift she wants to give you at this point in time. Doesn't have to be. She's already given you one in the past, but sometimes our future selves are super sweet and continue to give us things that we can take back to our own time. So see what happens if she connects with you and shares anything.
Yes, she's giving me a flower. I went to say rose, and then I went, no, that's a hibiscus. So that's an interesting visual that was popping into my head.
Okay, so receive that.
But there's a flower offering. It's red pink, so it's those colors. It's beautiful. It smells lovely. It's got, maybe it is the rose. It's got lots of layers. Maybe it's the rose.
So receiving the hibiscus from her, the rose, just this beautiful red scented flower. Taking the symbology, what's the symbolic nature of that? She could have given you multiple things, but that's what she gave you. You can even ask her, how come you're giving me this? Could just be a symbol of love. What is it? It's a symbol of what?
It is. It's of softness. It's of embracing all of your senses. Those are something beautiful to touch, see, feel.
Remember beauty. Yeah.
Yeah.
Touch, feel, see.
Like to embrace it all the good, all the bad. Just embrace all. So I think, yeah. Where my head
Yeah, we live on this dual plane, right, where we get the good, the bad, and the ugly, and all of it. And what you've carved out for yourself with that particular work, you're going to encounter it.
Yes.
She's just inviting you to embrace it. And here's the beautiful flower to help you do that and to bring some softness and some love in that all.
Yeah.
Okay.
And to enjoy the journey. Try not to just be focused too hard on the destination.
Right. You got some time here, so just settle in and have a good time.
Yes.
And you'll be there soon enough. Okay, taking that hibiscus with you, taking with you your experience of being her, of her confidence and her posture, right? You were in there in embodying her. So taking that posture, that sense of that vibration, that frequency, whatever words you want to put on it, that tone of her, that stance, that outlook, that frame that she has, you know, that's such a gift. And she's literally giving you a gift with the flower too. There's the bird. So the bird knows it's time to take you back. Receive a goodbye. It's, you know, you two are always connected, you and your future self. She's just a little bit of focus away from you, should you care to do the focus. So it's not goodbye, but it is goodbye for this particular connection. So receive her goodbye. She knows you're going back to 2020, so I know she's going to want to be hugging you and just loving you up and atta-girling you. Receive that. You're not alone. You've got her.
Yes. Thank you, future self.
And when you're ready, hopping back up onto that incredible bird's back. And it has enjoyed its time in 2028 too, and it's a free being and can come and go, but it's so graciously taking you back to your own time and place. And now the count back is happening from 2028, and you're taking off from that vibration where she is there in Australia and in that feel, and you're going up above her world, and you're getting that, the bird's getting that current that's taking you back in time, and you're moving through the time and seasons of 2028, crossing the barrier into 27, and those seasons whipping by, and safe and secure up there in that vantage point up above, crossing into 26. And then 25 starts to appear, whipping through 25 into 24. 23 starts to appear and whipping through 23, floating up there up above, fast as can be, secure. It's getting a little bumpy down there. You can kind of see coming into landing 22, 21, boom, 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 into 20. But the bird's incredibly strong and capable and able, and navigates that turbulence to be able to bring you down into the time and place that you currently are, deposits you there in the room here in 2020 and end of July, you there in front of your computer having this session with me. Step on off, inhabit your physical body there, saying goodbye and thanks to the bird who's there to work with you at any time that you want to summon it. Coming back into sitting in front of the computer, moving your arms and legs and eyes open, coming back from an incredible journey, which you did beautifully with being able to connect with your future self. Just a reminder from here, I want you to actually give it a little try. You can do a quick travel. You can do the journey the way you did through the bird. But I'm also going to invite you to see if might there be a way that you can, through telepathy, through a cell energy cell phone or text or something, right, that you can connect with her to give you that sense of 2020, that you're actually hooked up with that one in 2028. Maybe do a little hello, like, you know how you text someone when you come back from you're driving home at night and the people want to know that you got home safe. So she wants to know you got home safe to 2020. So just beam a little like, I'm here, I got back. Thank you for the visit.
Okay.
Just so you can see, like you have a communication consultancy. So this is part of your ability to communicate, right? Is like you can communicate with your future self. You can be embodied here in 2020 and you can use your abilities to connect with her. So try it on for size. See how you can do this. So anytime that you have a dilemma, or you feel alone, or you get overwhelmed, or you have some weird or funky thing happen, or you're trying to sort out discernment around a relationship about, is this toxic? Do I need to speak up, use my voice, assert boundaries, communicate my point of view? You could always have her as your advisory person.
Yes.
Can you feel that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
block
good
of
anchor to
safety.
put in. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can do it. It's so cool with the bird. So of course you'd want to travel that way. So when you have a little bit of time, you can do that, you know, and bring that into your meditations, because it's going to be really nice for you to be able to journey there. And, you know, somatically, it makes a big difference to the nervous system and the body. So anytime you want to journey there, that's going to help with the current stress. And then, of course, being able to get her perspective, right, is so helpful because, man, she's got it going on in terms of advice and perspective. You probably have your eyes open. I've got a whole slew of things here. I'll do a little bit of prettying up here, adding some coloring, some title and things like that, and I'll send you the map. But boy, you know, you did it. That was incredible when you really had to poke you a couple times. Don't think it'd be it, you know, but once boom, you got into her, bam, you know, the power came out. And what she said about wounding and the wounded biting back and finding the tools, and that you aren't helpless on everything. There's some things that you are, and seek assistance, and that whiff of who she is. She's a dynamo. That was really incredible with the Communication Consultancy. I have that all down at the bottom here. And just the guidance too about it. The animal work does fit in, but you don't want, in a way, you're choosing not to contaminate it, so to speak. Like you feel so deeply about the animals that you're wanting to do that as pro bono. Also knowing that it positions you, that there's so many incredible people who are working in that field. And as you mingle and get to know and have a name for yourself there, it builds your consultancy, your other work. So
Right.
it's a win-win for everybody.
Right. Yeah, it's got to feel, all of it's got to feel right and good.
Yep. And
Yeah.
integrity. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what you figured out for yourself in the future of how you deal with that. And it does, and it's not like it's this big separation, right? Like I do this stuff that I don't really like to make money, and I do this because that's my real love work. It's like, no, that these inform each other, and you have lots of crossover, right? So good paid work comes from those people and networks and stuff that you do your pro bono work with. And there's probably lots of other cool people too who maybe you even introduced to the animal work. I can feel that happening.
Yeah, I feel like all good vibes around that whole chunk of future self, and yeah, I love it.
Yeah, me too. Goosebumps. Yeah, cool. Good. You're the second one who's moving to Australia. I have an Australia. She's Canadian, but she's her future self, 5 years. So maybe you guys will meet up in Australia. She's trying to remember the name of the session. I can't remember right now, but anyway. It was a super cool one. And her future self was 5 years and was saying she wants to have dual between Canada and Australia, and was concerned, her 2020 self was concerned about the travel, and are we going to be able to, or is it going to be too expensive? And apparently it's going to get much more able to be able to do that at a lower price point. So I don't know what's going to happen in the 5 years if we've got disclosure with technology or a lot of different advances happening. But anyway, it seems like we're going to be able to do that from her future self's point of view. So super cool.
Yeah, nice. Very
okay,
cool.
Give me a closing quote. How are you at this point in time?
I feel much more serene and just much more like that was soothing and settling, and I feel good. And of course, I am most grateful for you and meeting you, connecting, sharing what we have, and you offering your gifts to the world in the many different ways, very different, great ways you do. And I think it's lovely. So I definitely honor you for sure. This is beautiful work, and I am most grateful.
Oh, thank you. It's an honor. It's an honor, and to be able to support you and what you're doing in the world and what you'll be doing, you already do, and what you'll continue to do in the future, that's my honor right back. So thank you.
Lovely. Yeah, I hope we stay connected.
I'm sure we will. Yeah.
Interact for various, maybe there's more paths in the future.
Yeah. Got a support group with meditation coming up. I'll keep you posted.
Okay, yep. Perfect.
Lots of good stuff. Supporting, I think it's going to be a 6-month support group. I'm still kind of figuring it out, but I'm getting that that's what my guidance is coming through, to offer containers of support for people and keep them small so we can have good intimacy and really get to know each other, like what you experienced in Mexico. So
yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah, to be continued. Okay, Aurora, take good care. Thank you so much. I'll just turn off the recordings.